Today we are going to read Chapter 5, Flute the Canary, from the book Elmer and the Dragon, written by Ruth Stiles Gannett. Elmer and the dragon rested a while on top of the cliff, watching the waves spreading out over the sandbar. Suddenly, a little voice chirped. You are Elmer Elevator, aren't you? Elmer was too startled to answer. Aren't you? Of course, it has been 3 years, and people do change. Elmer looked all around, but he couldn't see anybody. Yes, I'm Elmer, but who and where are you? He asked. Look up in the tree above you. It's me, Flute. Elmer and the dragon looked up, and there he was, Flute the canary. Funny little flute with two black eyebrows and one black feather in each wing. Oh, Flute, how glad I am to see you! But how did you get here? I flew here the day you let me out of my cage, when your mother went to answer the doorbell. This is where all the escaped canaries live, Feather Island, we call it. But what on earth are you doing here? Well, I just rescued this baby dragon, and he was flying me home. Only we got caught in a storm and landed here instead. And now he's got to rest and get plenty of food and water before we can go on. Does he eat canaries? I should say not, snorted the dragon. Only fruits and vegetables and lollipops. That's a relief, said Flute. I almost didn't talk to you because the rest of the canaries were afraid. I'll just tell them everything is all right. And Flute trilled loudly in every direction. Soon canaries were chirping all over the island, and the pine trees rustled with fluttering wings. Let's go eat, said the dragon, who was bored and still hungry and thirsty. So Flute flew down and rode on Elmer's shoulder as they walked through the pines. Tell me, Flute, do people live on this island? Asked Elmer. No, just canaries. That's what I thought. Well, how have you been getting along without my mother? She's never stopped worrying about you. Quite well, thank you, said Flute. But I'm beginning to suffer from the island disease. What's that? I know it sounds silly, but the whole island is sick with curiosity, and old King Can is actually dying of it. Who's King Can? Asked the dragon, becoming somewhat interested. He's the king of the Canaries. He's really King Can 9. His ancestors, King and Queen Can 1, were the first Canaries to live on the island. They came with a party of settlers. But the settlers sailed away after a month or two, and they left King Can and his wife behind. Now I understand about the ladder and the bucket and pine trees and the apple orchard, said Elmer. Yes, said Flute. They are the work of the settlers. But to continue, migrating birds often stop by here, and King Can, being lonesome, told them to ask escaped canaries to live on his island. But even after many canaries had come, he was never well or happy. And when the other birds asked, why not? King Can would answer, I'm dying of curiosity. Pretty soon the other canaries grew curious to know why he was so curious. But he told the reason only to his eldest son. And so they all grew sick with curiosity. Finally, when King Can 1 was a very old canary, he did die of curiosity, and his eldest son became King Can 2. Skunk cabbage! I smell skunk cabbage! Interrupted the dragon right in the middle of the story, because by this time they had come out onto the meadow. It's right over there in the swamp, said Elmer, and the dragon lumbered off to eat and to drink cold water. King Can 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 all died of curiosity as very old canaries. And now King Can 9 is sick with it. And the rest of us are sick too. I tell you, it's an awful thing, continued Flute. I suppose so, said Elmer. I wonder what they could have been so curious about. See, there you go, getting curious. What a great day it will be when this island gets over the plague of curiosity. Maybe I could help King Can 9, suggested Elmer. If he weren't curious anymore, then nobody else would be curious to know why he's curious, and everybody would get well. That's right, said Flute. Let's go see the king. He lives in the biggest tree in the forest. Elmer yelled to the dragon that he would be back soon, but all he could hear was loud munching and drinking noises in the bushes. The end. Hope you enjoyed the chapter, and we'll be back with chapter 6, King Can 9. Until then, take care.